you have the other religions. Most other religions, the goal is to get to whether it be heaven or the final state of continually reincarnated till you get to perfection, or whatever the final goal is. The other religions is based on your own effort. It's based on your own, whether it's your morality or your service. It's based on you doing something, or your conscious awakening. You're awakening your consciousness is based on your effort. So Christianity is different because it's not, we say that it's not based on our efforts. It's based on Jesus. It's based on the cross. So the cross is the thing that's distinctly different about Christianity. All the other religions and other philosophies, it's about how good can you be, whereas Christianity is about how good was Jesus. It's a gift. It's like it was a gift for me.
And you don't earn your
gifts. I can't earn it.
Yeah,
right?
You don't earn a gift. A gift is given.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a blessing.
It's like I can't earn it. There's nothing I can do to earn it. Not that I shouldn't be good. Not that I shouldn't strive to be better. But I'm not relying on that. That's not my saving grace. People want to say, well, all religions are just different paths to the same place, or just be a good person.
Christianity is a way to.
Christianity is one of many ways, or just be a good person and you can go to heaven, or as long as we love people and not hurt anybody, then you should be able to go to heaven, or as long as you treat everybody right, then you go to heaven. But there's only one way to get a garment. You have to get it from the King. To summarize the point of the parable of the wedding feast, God sent his son into the world, and those who should have celebrated his coming, they are the ones who rejected him, bringing judgment upon themselves. As a result, the kingdom of heaven was open to anyone else who will set aside his own righteousness and accept God's righteousness provided through Jesus Christ. So I talked about how parts of it were historical and parts of it could be future. And so we can see that the man with the garments is usually interpreted as, okay, he didn't get into the banquet, he didn't get into heaven.
The man with the garments?
The man who didn't have the garment.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's usually interpreted that he didn't get into heaven.
He was bound and cast out into
the outer darkness.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah, right. But we say the kingdom of God means the reign of God. And Jesus said the kingdom of God is among us. He didn't say the kingdom of God is coming after you die. He said the kingdom of God is among us. So does that mean that the banquet feast is among us? So does that mean that we can attend the banquet now? So is the kingdom of God a future heaven, or is it a current reality? So kingdom of God, we've been saying it doesn't necessarily mean a future heaven. And if that's the case, then that means the outer darkness doesn't necessarily mean a future hell. So is Jesus talking about entering the kingdom now? So Jesus said, if you abide in me and I abide in you, then whatever you ask for will be given to you. So what if abiding in Jesus and Jesus abiding in us is the wedding banquet? So if you lived in a world where whatever you asked for was given to you, would that be a banquet feast for you? So Jesus said that that's possible. So it doesn't necessarily mean, kind of like you said, that we were talking about, not necessarily mean that you have the power to control God, but it could also mean that you're in a state where everything you desire is within the will of God.
Right, he can.
Everything you desire. No, I'm saying not that. So there's stuff you can desire, and it's whether it's it can't be in His will or out of His will. But I'm saying, but maybe there's a state you can be in where everything you desire is within His will. Like you only desire the things.
Yeah, if you
that are in
desire
God's
things
will.
with great wisdom, it would be within His will. But who's that wise?
Well, He says if you delight yourself in the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart.
Okay.
So that can be interpreted as I'm delighting myself in the Lord, and I want a car, I want a jacket, I want some shoes, he's going to give me that. Or it can be interpreted as, I delight myself in the Lord, and instead of these things that I desire, he's going to give me the desires of my
change your
heart.
heart.
He's going to change my heart. He's going to give me. So instead of the desires that I had, that society put on me, that my parents and my family taught me, now God is going to give me the desires of my heart because I'm delighting myself in him.
Being
I'm
a
not
Christian is
delighting
supposed
myself.
to mean something.
Yeah, it's like I'm not delighting myself in what my neighbors think. I'm not delighting myself in what my boss thinks. I'm delighting myself in what the Lord thinks.
Yeah.
And once I do that, now he's going to give me the desires. So now I used to want this, but now I don't really desire that anymore. And I used to want that, but now I don't really desire that anymore because he's giving me, you know, I'm studying the word more, I'm going to church, I'm hanging around. So now he's giving me
Your
the
desires
desires
are
of your
different.
heart. The desires are different. I'm getting them godly desires. So living a life apart from Jesus is being cast into darkness and gnashing of teeth because it causes you're living in a world of pain and sadness.
And preoccupied and sad and a lot of emotions, you know, that people trying to fill a void that nobody can fill but him.
Yeah, yeah, they're trying, yeah. So if heaven is wherever God is, then that means being in the presence of God is being in heaven. So I was in a Bible study, Lee's Bible study. At one point, we were studying prayer, and we decided that we were gonna start a thing where 15 minutes every day at the same time we would pray. So not same time everybody, but just like me, same time. If it was 9 o'clock a.m. for me, it was same time. If it was 10 o'clock p.m. for Eric, he'd do it every day. So for like 3 or 4 weeks, we would do that. And so it was like, tell your friends, don't call me at this time, turn your phone off. And so we would do it. And and so prior to that, when people would talk about, you know, getting into the presence of God and things like that, and I was kind of, like I grew up in the church, but, you know, it was like, that was, you know, it was just kind of churchy talk, or just, I didn't, you know, it's like, well, I don't know. It's like, yeah, that sounds all emotional and spiritual and stuff, but, you know, I don't really know what that means. But so I kind of kept that practice up, and eventually, you know, grew to an hour, and I kind of had a practice of sometimes I would pray, but then after the assignment was over, I would just continue. But sometimes I would worship, sometimes I would read the Bible, sometimes I would pray, sometimes I would just sit there, and so I would just be with God, and I would do that. I did that. So after a few months, I started realizing that I was hearing more clearer. I was hearing more clearly from God, and like things like that I pray for that I was worried about, like I would get solutions would maybe come to me more often during that time, or ideas would come. So I would get thoughts in my head that didn't seem like the normal way I normally get thoughts. And it's like, okay,
It's amazing what he does.
when I'm doing it or in the presence, it's like I don't have, you know, I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about what went on in my job. I'm not worried about different relationships. I'm not worried about any health problems I have. I'm not worried about things I'm sad about. But then I don't, and then I would like, and I'll laugh and say, well, why don't I do this more often? You know? But it's like, well, but if in that state, if you're in a state where you're not worried, you're not anxious about anything, you're not frightful of anything, you're not worried about any money, you're not worried about what tomorrow brings, you know, you got solutions to your problems. So couldn't that be the banquet?
Yeah, it's a peaceful place to be.
So God is inviting us to the banquet now. Who's hungry?